And now let's move on to another interesting story and a rich list. India's ultra-rich are reaching new heights with the Hurun Global Rich List 2025, revealing that India now boasts 334 billionaires, a 29% increase from the previous year. The collective wealth of these billionaires has surged to an astonishing 98 lakh crore, surpassing the GDP of several nations, including Saudi Arabia. Gautam Adani emerged as India's biggest wealth gainer with nearly 1 lakh crore increase in his net worth, bringing it to 8.4 lakh crore. But let's take you through the rest of the takeaways from this list now. As you can see on your screens, we're looking at the Hurun Global Rich List. We're looking first at Gautam Adani, who's now in the top 3. His wealth grew by 13%, and we're now looking at a net worth that's close to 8.5 lakh crore. Then the total billionaires that we're seeing now, we're looking at almost 284. That's almost 13 up from last year, third highest in the world. But let's now take a look at some of the new entrants in the list. We see Roshni Nadar from HCL Tech, Liang Wenfeng from DeepSeek AI, and Sam Altman from OpenAI also making the list. Let's remember Roshni Nadar also joining the top 5 richest women through this list. But now let's take a look at some of the younger Indian billionaires. Shashank Kumar and Harshal Mathur of Razorpay also making it to this list. And now let's look at the world's billionaire capital. We saw New York City is also followed by London as the billionaire capital. And lastly, we're also seeing Asia's billionaire capital, Shanghai overtaking Mumbai for the very first time. So a lot of interesting takeaways coming in from this rich list. And I'm joined now by Mr. Anas Rehman Junaid, founder and chief researcher, Hurun India, to give us more insights on the Hurun Global Rich List 2025. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for your time. India now has the third highest number of billionaires globally. What are the key drivers behind this surge in wealth creation?
Thank you for the opportunity. This is the fourth edition of Hurun Global Rich List. It is the rich list. It indicates that the billionaires in the world are the record numbers. The world now has about 3,442 billionaires. The number of members in the 10-0 clubs, that is those with the wealth of US dollar 10 billion or more globally, is almost touching 300. India has about 17. While the number of members in the 11-0 club, which is those with the net worth of US dollar 100 billion, that's almost 17 today. In 2017, the number was 0. And as the AI goes mainstream, this concentration of wealth is going to be even stronger. You would see at this rate, by 2030, you could expect the world's first trillionaire and maybe at least 100 individuals with $100 billion net worth and more. So that's from a global picture.
Sure.
India now has about 284 billionaires. And from an Indian context, the story from my perspective is how the wealth creation is happening, how that will evolve in the next 10 years. A lot of interesting trends. You have seen the wealth creation from the startup ecosystem. You would see wealth being driven by a stock market performance, the family businesses unlocking value, the real estate sector, which will have a further impact on wealth creation,
sure.
Healthcare, another sector, then interest in international private equity and capital providers in the Indian market, which will have a further unlocking value. So a lot of interesting trends from the Indian context.
So, Anas, one interesting trend that spoke to me very personally. Are we likely to see more Indian women breaking into the billionaire ranks soon?
Yeah, when we started the Hurun Global Rich List about 14 years back, the number of billionaires in India was 0. It's about 5. Now it's about 22. Now, if you do a comparison of the number of women billionaires in the list, in China, that number is 175. India is only 22. But China is a massive economy. So I would expect that the number of women wealth creators are going to continuously increase. In fact, we'll have an exponential increase in the next 10, 15 years, driven mainly by the next generation of women taking over the family businesses, more and more startup founders, which will have a representation of women, and also professional managers could be women as well. So these sort of two, three trends. I think a huge gap to be filled, going by a trend in, let's say, if you take China as a trend, which has got at least almost 8 to 9 times more than women in the list. I think in the next 10 years, you could see a good number of increment in terms of women wealth creators.
We're also seeing the youngest Indian billionaires at 34. How do Gen Z and millennial entrepreneurs compare to the old guard in their approach to wealth?
I think India is still a young country. I think if you look at overall over the last 20, 30 years, the principles for wealth creation, be it Gen Z or old guards, it's been the same. But one key difference now that we have in the world now is extreme dependency on technology or influence of AI, right? So I think the young and Gen Z would potentially uh, be more connected with AI and the new tech, which will significantly have an impact in wealth creation. Numbers, so to speak, right? Some of the top wealth gainers in this year's list have some impact on or some dependency on AI, be it the CEO of NVIDIA or DeepSeek founder who's entered the list this year, or Sam Altman. We don't have a single AI billionaire yet in India. So in the next 10 years, you would see a lot more wealth creation from new technology, new sector, AI being driven by a young Gen Z and millennials. And our old guards are not to be discounted. They are always continuously innovating. They are looking at tying up and embracing what's happening in the world. And the other day, I was hearing a news report that the number one in the list, Mukesh Ambani, he is looking at partnership with global conglomerates to get AI to India. So you would see a lot more of these partnerships happening as well.
Absolutely, Anas. Thank you so much for your time. And here's hoping that we see younger billionaires make it to the list and also more women, as we saw Roshni Nadar of HCL Technologies making her debut on the list, and also the cumulative wealth of all of these people reflecting a very dynamic shift, like you rightly pointed out, in various industries. Thank you so much for your time.